Rama Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the
Hare Krishna.
all glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga. All glories to Shri
So we are live. Welcome to the show. This is the regular Wednesday night program in Whangarei, being hosted at our house.
Called
And-
Prabhupada Sangha Gathering.
Okay, it's called Prabhupada Sangha, and you're at Prabhupada Sangha. Welcome to Prabhupada Sangha. Introducing our special guest speaker, Atmananda Prabhu, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And then it's just my wife and I. Usually there's like, I don't know.
You don't see the Narada Muni and all the demigods?
Okay, they're here too, but they're invisible to my blood
You can't
senses.
see them. Maybe you can't. I can't. I've been reading, have you read Vishaka Dasi's book? 5 years, 11 months, and a lifetime of everlasting love. About her,
Wow.
about her direct association. She had so much association with Prabhupada in the beginning. She's an amazing writer.
Wow.
You gotta read it.
I'll be shocked.
And yeah, she comes from atheistic family and skeptic, and she shares all her what's happening in her mind and how she and Yadu Bar, then John Greaser, were on exchange some program from what was the university, Rochester University of Photography or of Art in Rochester, New York, America, and they traveled to India. And they're looking for the perfect country village so they can make a photographic essay, describe it. So they meet Prabhupada quite. I don't know if it was accidentally. I don't remember, but he said yes. Vrindavan is the village. We go there, and they end up in Vrindavan. It's amazing. It's a lot like Kunda Maharaj's book, Miracle on Second Avenue. How he goes through all his changes, meeting Prabhupada, and how the association affects him. How he goes from mundane consciousness and skeptical and almost challenging. Gradually, you can experience the transformation, the elevate, the purification, the elevation. He doesn't talk about it in those words, but you can experience it by how he talks about his experiences. And Vishaka's like that. She's an amazing writer. She brings up so many powerful points which people would normally or do normally doubt about Krishna consciousness, and her own doubts about it, and then she starts getting clear, and she goes back and forth, and she doesn't pull any punches in terms of her experience with devotees or challenging, especially the almost chauvinistic or mood of some of the men, senior men, especially about women. She talks about a lot of psychology. And amazing.
I don't want to cut you off, but I'm just wondering what your thoughts are about, since it's just us three and
Yes.
demigods, and we're quite far away from the mic on
Yes.
here.
Oh,
I'm thinking this is pretty much our main audience online, so we might as well really,
get closer.
get closer. What do you think?
Okay. It's all right.
Okay. Yes, we just come.
We may be receiving some more people, but let's see.
Yeah, and if they come, then we'll just go back to here.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's audible. I'm just thinking it might as well, really.
Yeah. Keep reminding me. Sometimes I tend to speak down or almost mumble, so
Right.
I can speak a lot louder, of course.
Okay.
Can you tell if there's anyone with us online?
Yeah, and there's not right now.
Not yet. Right. Well, there was no announcement, was there?
No.
Is YouTube streaming on YouTube?
Yeah, and Facebook.
Wow.
I'll just make a post.
Yeah.
Make a couple of posts.
Okay.
in different places.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking I could bring us a little bit closer again.
Okay. Can't see the deities from there, can they?
No.
It's all right. I'm very.
One viewer. Hare Krishna, welcome to our one viewer. Introducing Atmananda Prabhu.
Hare
We'll be
Krishna.
sharing some. What are we up to tonight, Prabhu?
Well, we're gonna read one verse of Bhagavad Gita in the purport, chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized, text number 24.
Okay.
We just read that, and then
share
we
it.
go through the. We're starting the 14th chapter of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya.
14.
And whereabouts in the Bhagavad Gita?
Second chapter, text number 24.
Oh, yep. Achetyo Sushi Eva Cha.
Contents of the Gita summarized. The whole Gita in one chapter, which sounds like a complete contradiction.
Achetyo Yam Madahyo Yam.
We'll
Okay.
start with that now. And thank you
To our one viewer, feel free to post a comment so we know who's watching. And feel free to leave any comment or
Bhagavad Gita as it is, by His divine grace.
the original.
Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very grateful to have Muchakunda and Ishwari Prabhu's hosting us, providing this very warm, much more than physically warm, atmosphere and very sattvic, and deities Shishi Nimai Nitai, very effulgent. They look like they've just been bathed and polished. They're really effulgent. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So please repeat after me the best you can. Achedyo yam madhayo yam.
Achetyo Yam Madhayo Yam.
Akledyo shosya evacha.
Akledyo Sushya Eva Cha.
Nitya sarvakata stanur.
Nitya Sarvagata Stanur.
Avato yam sanatanaha.
Achalo Yam Sanatanaha.
And the word meanings. Achedya.
Achetya.
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable.
Ayam.
Ayam.
This soul.
This soul.
Adaya.
Adaya.
Cannot be burned.
Cannot be burned.
Ayam.
Ayam.
This soul.
This
This
soul.
soul.
Akledya.
Akledya.
Insoluble.
Insoluble.
Ashoshya.
Ashoshya.
Cannot be dried.
Cannot be dried.
Eva.
Eva.
Certainly.
Certainly.
Cha.
Cha.
And
And
Nitya.
Nitya.
Everlasting.
Everlasting.
Sarvagata.
Sarvagata.
All pervading.
All pervading.
Stanu.
Stanu.
Unchangeable.
Unchangeable.
Achala.
Achala.
Immovable.
Immovable.
Ayam.
I am
This.
this
Sorry, this soul.
This soul.
Sanatanaha.
Sanatana.
Eternally the same.
Eternally the same.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace of Prabhupada. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble, and can be neither burned nor dried. He is everlasting, all-pervading, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. Report. All these qualifications of the atomic soul definitely prove that the individual soul is eternally the atomic particle of the spirit whole, and he remains the same atom eternally without change. The theory of monism is very difficult to apply in this case, because the individual soul is never expected to become one homogeneously. After liberation from material contamination, the atomic soul may prefer to remain as a spiritual spark in the effulgent rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the intelligent souls enter into the spiritual planets to associate with the personality of Godhead. The word sarvagata, all-pervading, is significant because there is no doubt that living entities are all over God's creation. They live on the land, in the water, in the air, within the earth, and even within fire. The belief that they are sterilized in fire is not acceptable, because it is clearly stated here that the soul cannot be burned by fire. Therefore, there is no doubt that there are living entities also in the sun planet, with suitable bodies to live there. If the sun globe is uninhabited, then the word sarvagata, living everywhere, becomes meaningless. Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jaya.
So we'll move on to our regular subject of study. Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, one of the first books that Prabhupada had published, surprisingly so.
First book that I bought too.
Oh, right.
There's a light blue cover though.
It was paperback, right?
No,
No.
hardcover.
Hardcover.
Light
Light blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it was the picture of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing down a sandy path with a few huts in the background. Looks kind of like Jharkhand, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Anyway.
Wow.
Okay, whereabouts?
Chapter 14.
14, entitled
The Ecstasy
The
of
Ecstasy of the Lord and His Devotees. We're going through the first half of the chapter.
Okay.
And I'll share with you some of the questions that I posed for anyone who is studying in advance. We can have those now. It's part of it's quite a technical chapter with different many Sanskrit words for different levels of ecstasy and relationship.
Right.
So I'll just share the questions we can consider as we read. While reading, please consider, first, Srila Prabhupada emphasizes that we should follow in the footsteps of the great pure Krishna devotees and not try to imitate them. What do you understand to be the difference, that is, between following in the footsteps and imitation? Secondly, what are the 5 different types of relationships with Krishna? Thirdly, all these variegated and detailed aspects of rasa, taste or mellows of relationship, in these spiritual exchanges are also present in this world, but in perverted forms. We don't need to deeply understand them in our present conditioned state, but just reading about them is purifying ourselves of the coverings that keep us from realizing them. Intellectual understanding is not required. The process of hearing and chanting is fully sufficient. Gradually, with patience, we progress, rediscovering our eternally blissful and fully conscious free selves. So those are some of the points that came up when I was reading. So we'll go around. Everyone can read a paragraph if you like, and then afterwards we'll get into some discussion and share realizations or questions or doubts. Am I speaking loud enough?
The louder the better.
Yes, louder the better. Okay, I'll start. The symptoms of highly developed devotional service exhibited by the pure devotees sometimes are imitated by persons who are not actually pure devotees of Krishna. This is described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Such symptoms without devotional service to Krishna are purposeful. They are not actual. Sometimes those who are not conversant with this science of devotional service are captivated by the exhibition of such symptoms. But those who are in knowledge of the science of devotional service do not accept such symptoms. They are simply imitation or only the beginning that is accepted by the learned devotees. Next.
According to the various divisions and gradations of devotees, permanent devotional situations can be divided into 5 categories: peacefulness, service to Krishna, friendship with Krishna, parental affection toward Krishna, and conjugal love for Krishna. Each division has its own different taste and relish, and a devotee situated in a particular division is happy in that position. Characteristic symptoms exhibited by a pure devotee are generally laughing and crying. When emotions are favorable, a pure devotee laughs, and when emotions are not favorable, he cries.
Now again, there are differences.
Mm-hmm.
So I prefer to just read from it, if that's all right. You'll see the differences like you did last time.
Right.
But above these two emotions, there is the permanent situation of love, which is called Sthaibhava.
Sthaibhava, yeah.
In other words, the attachment to Krishna is called a permanent situation. That permanent loving attitude is sometimes mixed with different kinds of tastes, and they are named Bhava, Anubhava, Vyabhichari. Bhava is a particular taste for attachment to Krishna and is divided into 2 further categories, namely Alambhana and Udipana. That the cause that increases one's love of Krishna is said to be Bhava. In the Agni Purana and other authoritative scriptures, such taste is increased as alambhana when Krishna is the objective. Such taste is increased as alambhana when Krishna is the objective. When Krishna's transcendental qualities include a devotional emotion, by his activities, his beautiful smiling face, and flavor of body, the sound of his flute, his sound of the nopur, or conch shell, the marks of his soul, his dwelling place, his paraphernalia of devotional service, such as tulsi leaves, devotees, and the performance of ceremonies, and Ekadasi. This devotional emotion so induced is called alambhana or udipana. When feeling and emotions within oneself are exhibited, that is called anubhava. In the anubhava attitude, one dances and sometimes falls down, sometimes sings loudly, sometimes shows convulsions, sometimes yearns, sometimes breathes very heavily, all without any concern for the situation. Okay, that is a dense paragraph.
That is a dense paragraph.
Here you go.
So many subtle differences.
Oh, is it you?
I'll go next. We'll go in a circle.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you finish?
So you start these.
Those external features exhibited on the body of the devotees are called udbhasvar. The vyabhichari symptoms are 33 in number. Such symptoms principally comprise the matter of words and different features of the body. These different features of the body, such as dancing and trembling and laughing, etc., when mixed with the vyabhichari symptoms are called sanchari. And when bhava, anubhava, and vyabhichari symptoms are mixed together, they make the devotee dive into the ocean of immortality. Hare Krishna. That is called the Bhakti Rasa. That is called the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The ocean of the pure nectar of devotional service. And one who is merged into that ocean is always concentratedly in transcendental pleasure on the waves and sound of that particular ocean.
The particular flavors or tastes of the devotees who merge into that ocean of Bhakti Rasamrita are known as neutrality, servitude, friendship, parenthood, and conjugal love. The conjugal love taste, however, with symptoms of decorating the body for attracting Krishna, is very prominent. The flavor of servitude increases up to affection, anger, fraternity, and attachment. The relish of friendship increases up to affection, anger, fraternity, attachment, and devotion. In the relish of parenthood, the attachment increases up to affection, anger, fraternity, and devotion. There are special flavors of friendship with the Supreme Lord, as manifested in friends such as Subal. There the devotion increases up to bhava.
The different flavors are also divided into two kinds of ecstasy called yoga and payoga, or meeting and separation. In the relish of friendship and parenthood, the feelings of meeting and separation are various. Okay, the situations known as ruta and aniruta are possible in the flavor or conjugal love. Conjugal love, as exhibited by the queens of Dwarka, is called ruta, and the conjugal love exhibited at Vrindavan by the damsels of Braj is called aniruta.
Could you read that sentence again, please?
Sure. Conjugal love, as exhibited by the queens at Dwarka, is called ruta. And the conjugal love exhibited at Vrindavan by the damsels of Vraj is called aniruta. The highest perfections of aniruta, affection, and conjugal love can be divided into two. When they are actually getting together, it is called madhan. And when they are separated, it is called moha. In the ecstasy of Madan, there are symptoms of kissing one another, and in the ecstasy of Mohan, there are two kinds of symptoms, Udkurna and Chitra Jalpa. There are altogether 10 divisions in the Chitra Jalpa platform. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a portion known as Paramorgita, and different kinds of Chitrajalpa are mentioned there. Udkurna is a symptom of separation, and there is also the symptom called transcendental insanity. Okay. In that transcendental insanity, one thinks that he himself has become the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In such an ecstasy, he imitates the symptoms of Krishna in different ways. Okay, this is... okay.
There are two kinds of dresses in conjugal love. They are called Sambhoga and Vipralamba. On the Sambhoga platform, the dresses are unlimited, and on the Vipralamba platform, they are 4 in number. The ecstasy exhibited before the meeting of the love and the beloved, and the ecstasy between them after meeting, and the state of mind of one meeting the beloved is called Vipralamba. And that Vipralamba, or previous state of love, is a nourishing element for meeting afterwards. When the lover and beloved meet all of a sudden and embrace one another, feeling an ecstasy of happiness, that state of mind is called sambhoga. Sambhoga ecstasy is also known in different situations by 4 names. Some Samkshipta, that's 1. Samkshipta. 2. Samkirna. 3. Samprana. And 4. Samridhinam. Such symptoms are also visible during dreams.
The state of being before actually meeting one another is called purva raga. Purva raga. The obstacles to the meeting of the lover and the beloved are called mana, or anger. When the lover and beloved are separated in different places, that sense is called pravas. And the feelings of separation which are present even during the meeting under certain conditions are called love anxieties. This anxiety of love is exhibited in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto 90th chapter.
90th?
When the princesses were keeping awake nights watching Krishna sleeping, they were afraid of Krishna's separation and were talking amongst themselves of how they had been affected by the beautiful eyes and smiling of Krishna.
The supreme lover is Krishna, and he is situated in Vrindavan. The supreme beloved is Radharani. As Krishna is the supreme lover, there are 64 important qualifications of Krishna, on hearing which the devotee takes transcendental pleasure. The characteristics of Krishna are explained in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as follows. 1. His body is well constructed. 2. It is full of auspicious symptoms. 3. Beautiful. 4. Very glorious. 5. Strong. 6. Always looking like a boy of 16. 7. Well versed in different languages. 8. Truthful. 9. Decorated with pleasing words. 10. Expert in speaking. 11. Very learned. 12. Intelligent. 13. Influential. 14. Joyful. 15. Cunning. 16. Expert. 17. Grateful. 18. Firmly convinced. 19. He knows how to deal with different circumstances. 20. Is always conversant with scriptural injunctions. 21. Clean. 22. Controlled by devotees. 23. Steady. 24. Self-controlled. 25. Forgiving. 26. Grave. 27. Speculative. Right. 28. Fair dealing. 29. Magnanimous. 30. Religious. 31. A great hero. 32. Merciful. 33. Respectful. Wow. 34. Competent. 35. Gentle. 36. Modest. He's a great hero and he's modest. 37. Protector of the surrendered soul. 38. Deliverer. 39. Friend of the devotees. 40. Submissive to love. 41. All auspicious. 42. Most powerful. 43. Famous. 44. Devoted to all living entities. 45. worshipable by everyone, 48 full with opulence, 49 supreme, and 50 full with riches. Wow.
Let's see if we've gone beyond. No. All the above mentioned 50 qualities are fragmentally present in every living entity. When they are completely spiritually free and situated in their original condition, all of the above 50 qualities can be perceived in human life, but in minute quantity. There are 5 other transcendental qualities, as mentioned below, which can be seen in Vishnu, the Supreme Lord, and partially in Lord Shiva also, but they are not visible in the living entities. They are as follows. Well, these are 5 other qualities in Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. 1, always situated in his original condition. 2, omniscient. 3, evergreen or always fresh. 4, eternally blissful. 5, conversant, the master of all perfection. Besides the above mentioned 5 transcendental qualities, there are 5 other qualities which can be seen in the spiritual sky, especially in the Vaikuntha planets where Narayan is the predominating deity. They are 1, inconceivable potencies. 2, able to sustain innumerable universes. 3, the seed of all incarnations. 4, to give the highest perfection to enemies who are killed by Narayan. And 5, the most attractive of the self-realized persons. The above mentioned 60 qualities are visible up to Narayan, and Krishna has 4 other special qualities, which are 1, able to manifest wonderful pastimes. 2, his transcendental flute playing. 3, eternal youth, and 4, his personal beauty.
As Krishna has 64 transcendental qualities described above, so Srimati Radharani has 25 transcendental qualities by creation, material and spiritual. But Radharani can control even Krishna by her transcendental qualities. Such transcendental qualities are described as follows. She is sweetness personified. She is a fresh young girl. Her eyes are always moving. She is always brightly smiling. She has all the signs of fortunate lines in her body. By the favor of her person, even Krishna becomes agitated. By the flavor of her person, even Krishna becomes agitated. She is expert in the art of singing. She can speak very nicely and sweetly. She is expert in presenting herself by feminine attraction. She is modest and gentle. She is always very merciful. She is transcendently cunning. She knows how to dress nicely. She is always shy. She is always respectful. She is always patient. She is very grave. She is enjoyable by Krishna. She is always situated on the highest devotional platform. She can give shelter to all kinds of devotees. She is always affectionate to superior and inferior. She is always obliged by the dealings of her associates. She is the greatest among all the girlfriends of Krishna. She always keeps Krishna under her control.
So Krishna and Radharani are both transcendently qualified, and both are attractive for each other. But still, in that transcendental attractiveness, Radharani is better than Krishna.
Right.
This attractiveness of Radharani is the transcendental taste in conjugal love. Similarly, there are transcendental tastes in the flavors of servitude, friendship, and other relationships with Krishna. They can be described as follows with reference to the context of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu.
Persons who have been thoroughly cleansed by devotional service and are always joyful and full of elevated consciousness, who are very much attached to the studies of Srimad Bhagavatam, always cheerful in the association of devotees, and who have accepted the lotus feet of Krishna as the ultimate shelter of their lives, who are pleased to perform all details of devotional service, have in their pure hearts the transcendental ecstasy of attachment developed out of old and new reformatory performance. That state of being, enriched with love of Krishna and transcendental experience, becomes gradually developed into the mature oneness of spiritual life. Such a spiritual taste of life cannot be possible for those who are not in Krishna consciousness and in devotional service. That's mine.
This fact is further corroborated in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, where it is said, for the non-devotee it is very difficult to understand the taste of devotional service. Only one who has completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna and whose life is merged in the ocean of devotional service can understand this transcendental relish.
Was that the last?
Are we
Oh.
continuing or?
That's it. Thank you. You saw the marker. Yeah. So now we can go around and share whatever thoughts, realizations, inspirations, doubts, questions, anything. And then whoever speaks first, the next person reflects at least one thing the previous person has said. So we're practicing applied Shravanam Kirtanam. Help us focus on really listening. Who would like to start? I was struck by, well, many things. I'm not trying to understand all the different nuances, all the different names, but I was struck especially by the list of qualities of Krishna. And it reminded me of the 26 qualities of a pure devotee. Now, Krishna has many more, but pure devotee manifests the different qualities of Krishna. He's like the light bulb that connected with the powerhouse, which may be universes away, or just outside the door. I mean, powerhouse, wherever it may be. The pure devotee has that full energy, that full electricity, so to speak, energy, power. And I was thinking of Prabhupada because he's like that. If you look at almost any picture or video of Prabhupada, you'll notice that everyone is focused, just looking at Prabhupada. Classes or morning walks, everyone is trying to crowd around, get close and hear everything he says. And it reminds me of the how Krishna is sitting in the forest or in the field somewhere with his cowherd boyfriends, and everyone's around Krishna.
Oh yeah.
And he's compared to the whirl of the lotus flower, the center of the lotus flower, and everyone. He's the center. He's all attractive. So Prabhupada was like that. And it's not surprising when I think it like that. I mean, as Vishaka describes, because she was brought up in the beginning of her devotional career with Prabhupada personally almost all the time, physically, so to speak.
Yeah, right.
And when Prabhupada went away, traveled to another country or something, or another city, it was hard for her, because she just wanted to be with Prabhupada all the time. And then when he apparently left the planet, that was she said she couldn't imagine. She never thought that it could be that he could leave or would leave. And many devotees were like that.
Right.
So I know myself. I even though I know that Prabhupada is right here now with us, and with anyone who follows his instructions, whether they are with devotees or not. If there are cases where people somehow got Prabhupada's books, and they were off in some distant town or village or city far away from devotees, and without any connection with Prabhupada personally, direct connection, well, physically, or any not having met devotees, they got the books and they read them and they started practicing. They started practicing all the regular principles, and even finding dhoti and or sari and putting on tilak. And then somehow they eventually they were discovered, or they discovered a temple, or devotees found them on traveling Sankirtan or something. And here are these people out with no apparent explanation.
Hello, Hare Krishna.
Glad.
Feel free to come up with your bike if you'd like.
Must have seen
Maybe it went to Elena's.
maybe.
His blood.
Yes.
Good.
He's very determined. Isn't he?
Yeah. It's great.
He's really good. He's very, really relishes. He gets so much. He's very deep, thoughtful, intelligent thinker. So that's one thing.
You made it.
Or a few things that came up for me.
And this is our. You can put it right here. This is our. You want to just put it right there? Okay.
Well, I failed the listening test because I was trying to share the live stream with someone. But maybe, David, do you want to go next?
Yes, I was hearing Atmananda Prabhu share about how just hearing those 50 qualities or 64 qualities of Krishna reminded him of the 26 qualities of the devotee, which reminded him of Hare Krishna.
Welcome, Vlad. I'm very sorry I didn't let you know somehow. I wasn't sure if you were on WhatsApp or anything.
Haribol.
How did you know the address? Did you go to Elena's?
No. What's up?
Oh, you
Oh, good.
saw it on WhatsApp. Oh, good. Okay.
You're in the group, yeah? Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. Good. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
So it reminded you of the 26 qualities of the devotee, which reminded you of Srila Prabhupada. And you were sharing how one thing I remember.
Vishaka?
Yeah, about Vishaka and her close and personal association with Prabhupada in the beginning, and also how you were describing this picture I love of Krishna. I guess it's the Brahma, the sorry.
I had a great day in my school, actually.
Yes, where he's in the center and everyone is, looking at Krishna. And
Yes.
you were making a parallel that with Prabhupada, you could just see everyone fixated on him. He was very effulgent and, obviously lit up by these qualities. Sorry, I kind of got distracted in many places, but I think
That's many things you've shared already.
Right.
Now that you say it, it's like the iron filings cannot avoid being attracted to the magnet.
Right.
So that's how it is with the living entities, with Krishna or with pure devotee.
Right. Yeah. I'll go next, I guess. Yeah, I mean, before we actually got into the reading, you were saying how the first half of the chapter is quite technical, describing like transcendental ecstasy. And it's just like those two things kind of transcendental ecstasy, but being described in a very technical way. It's like when you mix conjugal and parenthood and this, and then there are two types of. It's just like wow, that was a lot to take in. You think transcendental ecstasy is just the emotions are flowing. It seems like a very calculated thing, and then it was like, the queens of Dwarka have this type of conjugal love, and then the damsels of Vraj have this type of conjugal love. And two types of conjugal love they experience with Krishna, and it's all categorized. And it's like, yes, yeah, spiritual life is not. It's. Some would think the spiritual life is very like, I don't know, non-describable, but. This is a very technical chapter about ecstatic emotions. Like that was a lot for me and a mouthful. So yeah.
Do you want to go ahead
Or Vlad, would you like to reflect on what Ishri said and then share what you're present to or hearing? Or otherwise, I can. I'm happy to.
Yeah, probably do.
Okay, so what I heard you say, Davey, is that it was a lot for you because it's maybe not so. Maybe you're saying it's almost like counterintuitive that devotional emotion would be so categorized. And maybe most people think it's just spiritual emotion is undescribable, indescribable. Maybe you didn't use this word, but maybe it's like just individual, and it's just like it's just an experience. You don't really. There's no science to it. It's just everyone has their own experience. It's personal. But here we're hearing that there are so many. Everything is categorized. Everything has a name.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's important information to know that spirituality is not a vague thing. It is a science. What I'm getting, hearing, and reflecting on is just on that topic. I was at the pool the other day, and I met up with a friend of Krishna, someone who's around the devotees, but not practicing devotional life in regular ways. And we had this conversation about, he was saying like, hey, I get, my spirituality from all the places, all the different teachers, and that's what works for me, and I'm very like my personality type is called melancholic, or at least it's like that's a large part of it. Have you heard this word?
Yes.
No? Yeah. Maybe you're that way too.
How do you define melancholic?
Oh, it's all so many ways. Today I was watching a video about it, actually. That's how I found out. I'd been told I was before, but today I was like, just watching or feeling a certain way, and I'm like, I think I'm like a melancholic guy. And I've been told that, so let me like look that up, and this YouTube, guy on the YouTube was saying it's, one of the things here is intolerant to inaccuracy. Everything has to be, calculated. So this is great for me. I like this kind of stuff.
Mm.
I like learning these things, you know. But when someone comes to me and it's like, I just, get my teachings from everywhere, and bit of this, bit of that. I'm like, bro, that's a cocktail approach. One thing will give you a certain result, another thing will give you another result, and not all paths will lead to the same place. One path will lead to one place, another path will lead to another place. And he was like, yeah, but eventually we're all going back to the same place. I was like, well, that is true. Everyone follows Krishna's path in all respects. He says so in the Bhagavad Gita. But you can be on Krishna's path and be going the opposite way. And so I said like that. I was like, yeah, everyone's on Krishna's path, but, some are like, broken down on the side of the path. Some are going backwards, and eventually, you'll get to the destination, but, like it may be like going a really long route.
Mm.
And what was present for me in that conversation was just like, what you gonna like? Why you gotta be so like heavy with the guy? Can't you just lighten up and be cool? And I'm just like, I can't. I have to say, the accurate thing, the true thing. I can't be like accommodating, and so that's what that YouTube video I watched today kind of like answered that for me. That's why, that's why, that's why, intolerant to vagueness. Yeah, analytical, grave, serious, kind of the thinker. These are melancholic, so kind of strayed a little bit from the philosophy here, but just that's kind of just to what you said.
Mm.
Yeah.
Vlad, would you like to say anything about what you're going to say, or reflect something that he said?
Some people say about me that I am also melancholic. But I think some people could be mixed, different types. But it is their opinion. And actually, it is interesting that you said that means you are perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
Perfectionist.
Yes.
Ah.
All right. If to say about me, people say you are too much perfectionist.
About you?
Yes. Yes, I consider yes. If I start doing something, until it is perfect, I don't stop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I invest too much time in that.
Also, consistency. Like you're always here on Wednesdays. That's also a symptom or a characteristic of melancholic.
Right.
Consistent.
Regular.
Rules. Fond of rules and instructions.
Mm.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to say? I don't know if you read the reading for today. But anything else you wanted to say from your study of anything about Krishna consciousness, or any realizations or questions or doubts that come up for you?
I did not read today. Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. But is there anything that has come up in your investigation, or your exploring, or your development in spiritual life, or anything that's come up in the last week that you'd like to ask about or talk about?
Actually, I don't know. Sorry.
It's all right. I remember you're mentioning about there was a discussion, I think it was last week, about the turmeric.
Yes.
Remember that?
Everyone went and bought organic turmeric, I reckon.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did.
Because I actually asked Don at Putti Putti Ra.
Me too.
Because, yeah, you did.
Yeah, I got some organic stuff.
Okay, because I was saying, he said, well, because I said, well, are you sure this is pure? And he said, of course, it's organic.
Mm.
That's what organic means. And I said,
Right.
yeah. And unfortunately, I think there are companies which present themselves as organic, and they're actually not, just to get the business or whatever. He mentioned that the company, I think it's called Organic India, said it's been around for about 20 years. They show the tests they've done, and
Oh.
it's completely bona fide. So
Okay.
I felt, because I had a big pack of their organic turmeric in my cupboard, and I said, well, I want to check.
Right.
So I'm a little bit analytical like that, maybe a little melancholic as well.
Right. Yeah.
I want to know,
Right.
and it's valuable.
Right.
I find myself going too far. I think I'm also a bit of a perfectionist. Just like I'm moving out. I've got notice at my present place, and Krishna has arranged for me to have the unit next to Igor and Elena.
Wow.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
And there are 3 different symptoms that showed me that Krishna's been saving it for me, because it's been on the market it's been available since April, I think.
Right next.
The unit,
the same building.
Yeah.
Wow.
Someone just moved in recently, though, no?
Well, that was one of the evidences, the indication to
Yeah.
me. Like 2.5, 3 months ago, these people, there was someone about to move in, because the owner had told them, and then if I found out, because the lady Chelsea, the owner, lives in Queenstown, and her father lives in Whangarei. So he showed me. He's one who showed me around yesterday to finalize whether I wanted it or not. He said that those people who had committed, they were actually committed. They'd signed something, and then they said, well, they had to give 2 weeks notice or something at their present place, and then just the last day after 13 days or something, they got back to Chelsea and said, oh, sorry, blah blah blah, we found another place, and she was just left in the lurch. Wow. And all the other people who had been in queue interest in the place, they'd found their place, so there was no one. So that was one indication to me that Krishna's saving it. Wow. And there's 2 or 3 others I could tell you, but the point is that my landlord, where I am now in Hospital Road, she's had that house on the market on and off, and then just a few days ago she gave me notice. She said a month, and I was thinking, well, hang on, isn't proper notice like 93 days or something, and et cetera, et cetera. And shouldn't it be in writing? And so I was going to drill down to, and I think, well, why? Even now, it's pretty sure now in the last few days that I'm going to get this place in Davie Street next to Igor and Elena's. And I thought, well, why would I go into that whole challenging her or kind of questioning her about her approach, whether it's bona fide or the proper way to do it or not? Why? So my tendency was just to do it anyway. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, hang on, I don't need to do all that. She's a wonderful lady, and I don't need to spend my time or energy or thought process in that. And I certainly don't have to risk making her feel uncomfortable. Christians just bang, this place is just come available. So I noticed that quality in myself also, having to have things just right. whether it's practical or not, whether I actually need it or not.
Right.
So,
for the sake of it, yeah, true. Yeah. Saying things, getting accuracy, or exact detail, like getting stuck on the details in conversations as well.
Yeah.
As a thing for me, they're like say something, I'll be like, but and like they're like trying to tell a story, and then I'll be like, oh, but how did that work? Like the timing, chronologically,
that
like
doesn't sound quite right. Or something. Yeah. And then I'm just realizing now, as we're discussing, because this kind of reflective discussion, it brings things out naturally. I'm thinking it's actually described in the nectar instruction as niyamagraha, just following the rules and regulations for the sake of following them, getting into the details and not really looking at the goal. Or the Prabhupada says getting the result, getting the business, getting the result of the business, so to speak. These are the 2 symptoms that actually destroy devotional service. Niyamagraha, there's two different pronunciations of the same word. Niyamagraha means following rules and regulations just for the sake of following them without seeing and getting the result. And the other is rejecting rules and regulations and acting whimsically. So the two extremes where actually rules and regulations are meant as assistance. Some people say, "Oh, you're just slaves to rules and regulations. You've no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxication. You're just." And then we say, "No. These are assistants. These help us to become stronger and more clear and pure, so we can understand higher." I mean, meat eating is directly impacts the finer tissues of the brain, and it makes it eating meat makes it impossible to understand higher spiritual matters because that the physical effect of the meat. So
Can I build on what you say?
Not only the meat. There are lots of stuff.
so much
can
junk.
Affect.
So
All
much
food
junk.
affects.
Yeah. Everything makes a difference.
Right.
But especially meat.
Even who cooks it.
Even who cooks
Can be
it.
prashadam, but who cooked
Who
it?
sells it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can I build on something you just said, Prabhu, about being slaves to rules and regulations? We have a verse, it's just up there, that piece of paper
Little one,
above
yeah.
the picture. It says, Yena tena pukarena mana krishna naveshya sarva vidi, all the rules, niseda shur etiyor eva kinkara. Somehow or other, engage the mind in Krishna. All rules and regulations mentioned in the sastras are servants of this principle.
Yeah.
So, in terms of being, just kind of wanting to explore that a little bit, like being a slave, being a servant of a rule is counterproductive because that rule exists for something else. So it's just like what we were saying about, say there's a conversation, someone's trying to tell a story, and then one guy, the melancholic guy, is like, but wait a minute, can we just like drill into this detail? I don't think it would, I think you got the date wrong. I think it happened on the 13th, not the 14th. And it's like, bro, like that has no relevance to the bigger picture, what I'm creating here. Like, why you got to get stuck on something that's just not the point? It's not actually relevant. Who cares when it was? So similarly, it's like, rising early. We're not rising early to rise early. So to get stuck on that as a rule, like I rise at 6 a.m. every day, I'm there for it. It's like, therefore what? Like rising early is literally meant to get up and remember Krishna, just like it says, Mana Krishna Niveshiyat. Remembering Krishna. All the rules are meant to be serving this. So if you're rising early, but you're not remembering Krishna, it's niyamagraha, attachment to the rules and regulations just for the sake of them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement. So, being someone who is a little bit like attached to rules and regulations, I guess, what would you say, how to, it's built into my personality. How to give up that stubbornness and that potentially destructive to bhakti characteristic. And also it destroys relationships too, because as it says in the video that I watched today about melancholics, they're intolerant of others who do. Basically, anyone who's not like them is an idiot.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not like you.
You're an exception because you're my wife, so you're connected to me. And everyone else, though, irreligious, all the things. That's another thing. Critical. Melancholics are very critical. So yeah, how to, turns out my very personality is the antithesis of pure devotional service.
Okay.
My personality is anti-devotional.
Anything you wanted to say about this or anything else, Isha?
Anything about this?
If that or anything else.
Maybe you can answer my question because you're not a melancholic, and you're my better half. So you're my main advisor.
Okay, yes, and I'm going to say something else. Something else that stuck out in the reading was Radharani. We were hearing about her. That's she was being mentioned a couple times, and how she's more attractive than Krishna.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And all her qualities prove why she is.
Yeah.
And how it said, they're both attractive for each other. So they're the supreme love couple,
Divine couple.
But Radharani is more attractive.
Yes. Amazing, huh?
It's great.
Yeah.
Yes, I am not a melancholic. And
Says laughing.
it's funny. Opposites. We're here to complement each other in some ways. And so, and then when you're talking about Niyamagraha, having the rules and regulations there and just following them for the sake of it, I think in the beginning of my devotional life, I did that. I was told, and then I just did that without deeper understanding. And then as progressing and reading more and during the years, I don't know how this is going to sound, but I feel like it's loosened. And at one point I was feeling guilty and shame about that. My standard of my practice has gone down, and I'm not as pucka as I was when I was in the ashram, and the rules and all the things. But then, through talking with devotees and kind of also, I lived out of the ashram for 4 years, in mainly family settings, and discussing with other mature devotees about this kind of thing. It's it's not, don't beat yourself up, because you are still, you're showing up in your devotional life, and you're still, inquiring about Krishna. That is the point. It's nice you had the training, and it's nice that for a while you were in a bubble where you were rules and regulations, because that was where you needed to be. And then with some understanding, some maturity, hopefully, and just some time, and it kind of loosened, at least for me. And maybe, again, personality, I'm kind of the person that's not black and white, but all about gray. There's a lot in gray areas that you can, that's valuable in the gray areas. So, but I think it's also natural that you start off, and then I think with parenting, we'll have fun doing that. We might start off very, and then, depending on, are they, how they are, you just ease up.
Any thought?
The melancholy.
Any thoughts or anything comes up for you, about that or anything else?
Nothing is coming up.
Okay.
You're just soaking it all in. You're just hearing.
No problem.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I enjoy hearing.
Yes.
Shy.
The very beginning of pure spiritual life. I was very impressed by what you said about Radharani. There's a whole list of qualities of her. And the last one, she always keeps Krishna under her control. Like you said, she's more attractive. And that, of course, brings to mind Lord Chaitanya. He came to try to understand Radharani because as Krishna, he couldn't understand
Right.
why she loved him so much and what she experienced in that love.
Mm.
Lord Chaitanya came to taste that. And he was constantly in the feeling of separation from Krishna, in the mood of Radharani, which is inconceivable.
Mm.
So thank you for that. It's just amazing. And this is this that is often read on Radhastami.
Yeah.
It's just because we don't talk about Radharani very
Yeah.
much. And the other thing is that you mentioned that brought up for me that strictly following rules and regulations in the beginning is important. Not whether it's fanatically or not. Sadhana Bhakti is about following rules and regulations without much faith or conviction.
Mm.
One of Krishna's qualities is fully convinced. I mean, Krishna is fully convinced about what?
Yeah, right.
I wonder what the Sanskrit is. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something along the lines of sure and certain.
Okay.
Like no doubt, like not insecure about his decision. He's just like completely clear. Everything is just like
obvious.
Sat Chit Ananda, right? Full chit, full knowledge.
Yeah.
Mm. Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. I remember there was one situation where Prabhupada had all his senior men, I don't know if there were any women there, all GBCs, all in a room, they were discussing something, and Prabhupada went around to each one of them, are you convinced? Are you convinced? Are you convinced?
Mm.
Prabhupada said at one point, as you probably know, said, if I could create one pure devotee, create one moon, even with so many stars in the sky, if the moon is there, it just outshines everything. If I could create one pure devotee. And in relation to what you were saying, when we were talking, I was thinking, it's like seeing just the rules, or being so focused or almost obsessed with just following rules, or being melancholic, or being a perfectionist like that. It's like that, the saying, I don't see the forest for the trees. I just see the trees, but I don't see the whole forest.
Right. Right.
And that verse, Prabhupada mentions that specifically, that all the rules and regulations are meant for one purpose. Always remember Krishna and never forget him. That is the sum of substance, the conclusion of all rules and regulations, and the purpose of all of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's that verse from Rupa Goswami, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu.
Definitely. So let's finish up there and have our next kirtan. And I can come and join you in the kitchen.
No.
Well, there may be some things depends on the quantity, but I brought some salad things that if you want to use them, maybe we don't need them. And I want to just put in a plug for our Krishna Village Working Bee this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Everyone is more than welcome, of course. Obviously, if you want to stay over, then we need to speak with Claudia or Mark, because devotees are coming up from Auckland, and the place gets pretty full, pretty busy. But everyone's more than welcome, and there's great connection. There's wonderful teamwork and working on the land or in the garden or the chipping or fixing fences. Everyone's working together. It's very nice, I think you've experienced in Blood. It's a very nice mood, and there's great prasadam. We have a morning program and basic condensed morning program every day, and we have a Krishna book round robin reading every evening. It's very nice, very nice. So, anyone who likes, please join us even for a day.
Awesome.
Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Teachings of Lord Chaitanya ki jai.
Jai.
Sadhu Sangha ki jai.
Jai.
Harinam Sankirtan ki jai.
Jai.
Lord Premanandi.
Hari Hari Bol.
Thank
His
you
Grace
all.
Atmananda Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Hare
Mhm.
Do you wanna-
So we'll next week
Right.
it'll be the second half of teach. Do you have this book?
I was reading in internet.
Yes. Okay.
We don't have this book.
You don't? I've got some copies.
Yeah, you should.
If,
Get one.
when you're ready, I have them. So we'll start from top of page 126, right to the end of the chapter. Chapter 14, the ecstasy of the Lord and his devotees. And the next chapter, 15, is explanation of the Atmarama verse.
Oh,
And in
nice.
our Sapphato online CC study group, we're studying the chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter number 24, all about how Lord Chaitanya gave 61 explanations of this one verse.
So you're basically doing it parallel.
Well, almost. But he takes every single word of this verse and explains it in many different ways, totaling altogether 61 different explanations of the same verse. It's almost like there's so many subtleties and nuances of each relationship with Krishna.
Right.
And it, like you were saying, it's not just a whimsical thing. It's scientific. There's so many layers, which is hard to imagine. But all these different tastes and mellows and feelings and exchanges. It's so deep and rich. There's nothing like it. Although all scriptures and religions bring people to the same point, if one follows properly, to the point of understanding all these things. The Vedas, presented by a pure devotee, there's nothing to compare with it. Confirmed. Thank you all.
All right.
Can we stand up if you're going to play harmonium?
You can, yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Do you want to lead, Prabhu?
No, you go ahead. If you like.
All right.
Is that all right?
Yeah, sure. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya
Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirshesha Shanyavari Pasyatari Shatarine Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shanyavari Paschatari Shatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Would you like to play this for us? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Janda Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanande.
Hari Bol. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Gaura Bhakti. Hare Krishna. Best exercise.
So the camera ran out of battery, but the
I heard
sound
something beeping.
When was that?
Oh, towards the end of the kirtan.
Oh, quite recent, yeah?
Yeah, I
Okay.
thought it was a phone or something.
Right, yeah. Okay. So yeah, the sound's still going. We'll end the broadcast there.
Oh, it's still broadcasting without the battery.
Yeah, yeah, it is, yeah. So the sound is not coming through here, it's coming through here.
Okay.
So what
We
I can
have
do...
time to chat.
Mitato Singha Bahir Singha Hidayena Singha Narasimha Madhim Sharanam Prapade
Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapajai. Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapajai. Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapajai. Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapajai. Avakara Kamala Mare Nakam Adutta Sita Kalita Hiranyakashipu Anubringam Keshamani Nalahari Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Savakara Kamala Hare Nakam Adutta Sringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Anubringam Jai Jagadisha Hare
Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish
Jotendriyatahika Jive pile vishaya sagore Arvanje divayati Lobhamoy sadonmati Rakajita katina samsare Krishna paratoyamo Parivare jivaja Swapasaranati lova Sri Anamrita Bhav Radha Krishna Gunato Premata Ko Shri Chaitanya Nita Jai Mai Jai Nita Jai Mai Jai Nita Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next episode tomorrow night. Shikshastakam.
Hare Krishna.